loaded and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your gun securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is Wurd Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, WURD, Philadelphia. Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the Wurd Radio app.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Wurd Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L. O.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Happy Monday to you. Nick and I are always happy to have you join us. We're always grateful to spend some time with you. You know we are. So How was your weekend? How was your weekend? Here we are on a Monday. How was the weekend? Fill me in. Tell me all about it. You know, I want to know all about it. I know we're still in Virgo season, if I'm not mistaken. So, happy birthday to all of the celebrating Virgos, and happy birthday to you, especially if today is your birthday. If it is, if it is. Family, if you're visiting with us by way of socials, send us a comment. Let us know that you are out there and ready to join the conversation. You know, we love, love, love hearing from you. You can also call us, and you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. And you can also call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. To our listening family members, you know, we are always so grateful to have you with us as well. You are always, always, always appreciated just as much, just as much. And family, all the extra love and hugs that I can muster today goes to you if your light is shining dimly, especially to those of our family members who are navigating, you know, a loss. On behalf of your tribe and your village, I just want you to know that you are not alone. I want to take this time to recognize one of our own, one of our family members, our beloved Ron Armour. Now, you normally hear Ron when he calls in, but family, Ron was honored and recognized by the City Council of Philadelphia, and he received a citation for his service of over 40 years as a preacher and community activist. Ron, I just want you to know that we love and appreciate you. And I want you to know that we salute you. So, congratulations to you. Congratulations. Family, if you have something to celebrate, you know we do that right here as well on Love and Life. That's what we do. That's what we do. So, I've been asking you how your weekend was. I want to extend my utmost gratitude to everybody that came out this past weekend, and to everybody that wanted to do so. On Saturday, I performed with the Will Downing crew in Atlantic City at the Atlantic City Jazz Festival. It was amazing. Our beloved Patty Jackson hosted, and it was wonderful. It was, you know, she's phenomenal. I just love her to pieces. And on Sunday, I performed with Gerald Beasley and our Nina Simone family at Ardmore Music Hall. There was a gifted and talented young woman named Fauzia Hart. And her instrumentalist, Derek, that opened for us. They were phenomenal. They were really awesome. But there was so much love this weekend. I mean, really, really, family. There was so much love. And I needed it too. I needed it. I felt as if each of the events was a family reunion in and of itself. And I even got to see some of our Word family. I ran into Brother Nasir Butler, who's always hanging out with us on the show. I was so excited. I was so happy. I didn't even know what to say. I didn't even know what to do. So thank you, family. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart and with every fiber of my being. I do want to let you know that some of our family members are checking in on our socials. Malcolm White. Hey there, Malcolm. Malcolm shares that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy. It's always so good to know that you all are here. Hey, Malcolm. Hey there. And there's Brother Nasir. Hey. He is sending love as well to everybody. Good evening, Sister Carol and Nick and guests. Peace and blessings. Oh, thank you so much. He shares that he had a great time on Saturday. Thank you so much. Mizzy G is checking in. Hey there, Mizzy. Cheryl Brown is checking in as well and sending love to everybody. And she shares that love is shining bright tonight. Oh, my beloved Carly, that's my baby. She is sending love to everybody as well. Diane Facette is checking in. I love it. I love it. She's sending love to everybody and to all of our Word family, especially. And she also congratulates Mr. Ron. Congratulations to Mr. Ron. So, all right there, family, let's get started. You know, on Mondays, what we do, we talk with our beloved. You know, it's my girl. It's my girl. But I love when she comes because we always talk about, well, we talk about all kinds of things here. But in any event, FARIDA Boyer, she is the executive director and co-founder of the Black Brain Campaign Association, and she is also our resident clinician. So I, family, invite you to the conversation with none other than our beloved FARIDA Boyer. Hey
Good
there, beautiful.
good evening. I'm sorry. How are you?
Doing well. How was your weekend?
Busy. We celebrating birthdays. Our grandson's birthday was Saturday. It was today, but he celebrated on Saturday. And then my niece's birthday, she turned 21 on today. So we were celebrating birthdays all weekend. So
y'all had a lot going on. Wait, how old was the baby? How old was the baby?
He turned one today. He turned one.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
He was eating chicken mixed with cake, and it just a pleasure to see them grow.
Yeah. See them enjoying life. I know it's a good thing. Farida, before we go further, one of our family members is calling. So I want to take a moment to talk with our family member who is joining us on our phone lines. Hello, and thank you for calling.
Hi, Cal. How you doing?
Ron, hi there.
I'm going to share with you and the lady in the audience. On Saturday, I did a homegoing service, and for a man that was 84 years of age in the church. We went back, Cal, and sung some of the old hymns that Auntie and them could identify with. And we gave that brother a beautiful homegoing service, the Fulton family. And when I got home, the family left me something on my answer machine. What a wonderful uplift. And then I went to speak at a basketball thing for a person that your family knew played basketball, and they paid honor to him, and I spoke. And my legs gave out on me.
Oh.
I had a hip replacement when I came out on retirement, and I've been very blessed for it not bothering me. Sadly, my legs gave out. But anyhow, when I look around all the things that we have done when it wasn't that bad as it is now, I thank the Lord for what He has not given me. And I want to say, when I heard you speak the other day, beloved, when you closed out, now maybe listen to the audience heard that. Let me say this to you, beloved. You are a beautiful human being. I'm not talking any type of beauty with a face or anything like. You have a beautiful spirit, beloved, and your spirit. And I heard that cry. I was sort of upset all weekend thinking about that. Keep singing, keep crying, keep doing these things, because they're healing into you. So I got to stay off my legs for a while because they think they can take it. Because when I got my operation, they put a ball in my leg. They think they can reset it. But I won't complain. I won't complain because as long as I got this radio station, I know hundreds of people, and I can hear you all. Y'all bring me joy. You're a comforter. And Carol, one other thing I wanted to say to the people, please put your masks on. Please put your masks on because it's very important. When I was in the church the other day, I was sort of surprised because I didn't see that they made it mandatory for people to wear their masks. But I'm saying wear your mask and take a precaution with that. And I thank everyone for being nice.
Well, Ron, wait, I want to interrupt you for one moment. I'm sorry. Don't hang up just yet. I want to make sure that you felt the love that you received. I shared with everyone that you were honored and recognized by Philadelphia City Council, and our family members were congratulating you. And I just want you to know that we appreciate you, we love you, and we salute you. And congratulations.
Yes, but thank you, ma'am. And let me say, my best reward was, Cal, my best reward I ever got in my life, and I've seen a lot of things, Palm and all them people like that, is when you stood up for them children. It took me back to my childhood, beloved. When you cried for that gentleman that had that stroke. And that's why when I went in that church there at that time, and I put you on the program. Well, why would you? Yes, for someone to cry for someone that have a disability. So my caring come from because somebody cared for Mr. Ryan when I was a sad part of my life. And that's why we look at your sensitivity that you bring. Yes, the word love. I don't want the people to love Cal. Care for her, and care for people. That's the most typical thing you can do in life. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you and congratulations again. Family, if you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with Farida, our resident clinician. And Farida is joining us today. We actually just went over what we were doing for the weekend, quite honestly. That's what we did thus far. So you didn't miss you didn't miss too much. But we are starting a conversation today about how our children are affected when growing up in households that consist of a happy marriage versus a toxic marriage, or I should say relationship. And we should say relationship, maybe, huh? Either of the two. I do want to share before we go forward, because some of our family members are still checking in. Cheryl Brown shares, "Hello, Mrs. Farida Boyer. It's so glad to have you this evening." Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Miss Julie shares, "Happy birthday, Virgos. There are so many in my family," she shares. "Thank goodness for the Librans, balancing the scales of indifferences." Miss Julie, you're a mess. "Good evening, everyone," she shares. Miss Diane shares, "Yes, her birthday is October 8th. She will be the big 70. Tails you tell. Tails you tell. Well, God bless you. Yes, he has." And to that point, Farida, we've been talking about everything that's been going on. We've been talking about our babies. We talk about so much that's going on in the world. This topic, it's just wide for me. It's just so wide. It's just so wide. And family, we're going to talk about so many other things in our second hour tonight. We're going to break some things down. But for right now, when we talk about our babies and how they are affected as a result of our relationships, or the relationships of their parents, I should say, how can, let's say, a toxic relationship affect a child's relationship with their parents?
It can impact their relationship with their parents in different ways. And one, it depends on the relationship that the child actually has with the parent. Because if we're just being honest, some children don't have the most healthiest relationships with their parents. But if they see, when you think about children, they love their parents. Generally, they love their parents. They try not to, from doing this work, what I realized, children they try not to take a side. Like, I love my mother, I love my father. However, when you're thinking about relationships, if a child is seeing a parent hurt, they can take on those feelings of hurt. So if they're seeing trauma, when you're talking about abuse and things like that, because that's toxic, it can be hurtful to a child. And to see, okay, my mother's arguing with my father, that's making him upset, and that may cause the child to not to have some hurt feelings or some angry feelings towards the mother. So it's important for whatever one, you don't want to have difficult conversations around children anyway. Because when as a marriage and family therapist, we look at the family in systems. So it's the parents, and then it's the children. So whatever happens in the parental system, that should stay in the parental system. Children should not see what's going on between their parents, because you want to keep them safeguarded. And for the most part, you want to shelter them from any harm, because that's just what our responsibility is as parents. So if you can avoid any of that, so that it does not impact the relationship with the child, that's the best way to handle it. And you want to always stay in communication. Children sense what's going on in the house. If they see that parents are arguing, or they may not see it, they can feel or sense the distance between them. It can cause them to shy away, to shut down, to act out. So you want to be mindful of what what they're seeing, and you want to support them. So it's best to communicate to them on an age appropriate level of what's happening. Like, you don't need to share the details of what's going on in your relationship with your child, but you can say, you know, mom and dad are having some differences. So you want to just make sure that you're communicating to them what's going on, because it can become a toxic environment, and then they start acting out, because then you could see them maybe fighting in school, or, you know, having different other issues, or drug abuse or anything, depending on the age. So it definitely can impact the relationship with the parent.
Oh, that leads me to another question that I have. But family, it's time for us to take just a short break. So stay with us, but also know that the phone lines are still open, and you can feel free to continue to comment on our socials. We'll be right back.
Words of empowerment.
Eric Nixon, multi-platform audio editor at WHYY. At the end of the day, when people are heard and when people are loved, the community in Philadelphia is like probably no other in the country. As far as it's a city of neighborhoods, a city of love, a city of people that really want to help each other and fulfill each other's needs and desires when they're able to. And want to give back to each other. But unfortunately, a lot of barriers keep people from doing that. But when we see how these barriers are taken down or are eased a bit, there's the love there that Philly has for itself and for people that are welcome in the community. And we just got to get back to that. But I love seeing that when it's able to be shown.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These words of joy and empowerment are brought to you by Comcast, the United Way, and Bank of America.
Tailgating season is here. Keep things sizzling all season long with Dietz & Watson. Fire up the grill with perfectly smoked premium franks and sausages, or enjoy endless sandwich combos with fresh sliced meats and cheeses in a variety of bold flavors. There's something for everyone in the family, plus plenty of protein-packed snacks. Head to DietzandWatson.com to find a ShopRite store near you. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing. Premium meats and artisan cheeses since 1939.
Tune into Word Radio this Thursday at 10 a.m. for City Council Live, hosted by Ernest Owens. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack. Thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Offs, excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone?
Do flowers have best friends?
I don't know. Hey, look.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is your celebration.
Happy anniversary. It's a celebration, Word listeners. My name is Cedra Walton, account executive at Word Radio, and I have nothing but good things to say. There's never been a dull moment since I started in Word 3 years ago. Word is an extension of my blood family, my blood relatives. I've learned so much in regards to community, social justice, economic empowerment, environmental justice, mental health, and so much more. I have nothing but good things to say about Word. Salute to the Lomax family and having a vision to create a format such as this. And I look forward to many more years with my wonderful colleagues and friends and family at Word. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, and may God bless us with many, many more.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. And it is Monday, September 18th. And because it's Monday, you know what we do on Mondays? We talk with Mrs. Farida Boyer, our resident clinician. And tonight we are talking about how our babies are affected when their parents, well, we're looking at both sides. If the parents have what would be considered a happy marriage versus being in what would be a toxic marriage. I keep saying marriage, but relationship. Let me say relationship. So Farida, well, actually, before I ask you my question, I do want to acknowledge one of our family members who shared a point of view. Cheryl Brown shares, I know some children who have mothers who've treated them very badly, but will still love them no matter what.
Mm.
And then she also shares, also these children went to live with the most awesome stepmom, but they still wanted to be with their mom. Oh, wow. Well, like you said, though, you know, babies, we love our mothers.
Mm-hmm.
You love your mother. Well,
It's
it's the
that
only one.
unconditional love.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. You only get one. You only get one. That's
Mm-hmm.
how the song goes, right? And so I was curious to know, as you were talking about what you were saying, unconditional love. When you're on the outside looking in, how do you help a child who is the child of parents who are toxic to one another? Or is there anything you can do?
I think it depends on your relationship with the child. If you have a close relationship with the child, you can offer support. Just even asking a child simply like, "What's going on? How are you feeling? How does it make you feel? What's happening?" And I would say that if you're close to the family or in a, if you have a close relationship with the family, also it's important to have a conversation with the parents. How can we support you? Because I see something that's going on with your child or children.
Now, how do you navigate that when one or possibly both of the parents have mental health challenges?
One of the things, if somebody is diagnosed with any mental health challenges, they should be seeking help. And most diagnoses or some diagnoses calls for medication. So and feeling comfortable enough to have that conversation, like, are you taking medication? Are you seeing someone? Because if so, then that will help you to understand what's happening for that parent. And again, just being there as a support. How can I support you? Because one of the things for me, it's like you can't treat the child without treating the family. Because the child can come to therapy and okay, I can work on whatever issues or behavior issues that they have and helping them find ways to cope with what's going on. But they still have to return to their home. And if there are things still going on in the home, it's you want to support the parents as well, or whomever the child is in the home with, because they're going back into that environment. So you have to be able to treat the whole family.
Oh, that sounds so difficult.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But if people are consistent with it and willing to do the work, you'll definitely see a difference in the end. But it definitely takes work.
Family, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. Oh, that's my beloved, my sugar lump. Chloe is saying hello to everybody. Okay. Chloe's checking in, as you can tell. But if you have just joined us, just know that we are in the midst of a conversation. And we always invite you to join the conversation. You can do so by commenting on our socials, excuse me, or you can also join the conversation by calling us. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can also call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. So we're talking about these relationships. We're talking about our babies, how they're affected by our relationships. So, okay, so in some cases, some parents will tolerate, if you will. I hate to use that, but they will tolerate a partner that they may no longer desire, or maybe you know how situations can be, relationships can be, for the sake of their children, as they always say, well, I don't want my babies to grow up without two parent household, or a mother and a father. In your opinion, is that a wise thing to do, and why or why not?
I think it depends on the family. If you can, a child needs both of their parents. So if you can stay in the home and effectively co-parent with your partner or ex-partner, if you can do that, then stay. But if you can't, and it's causing harm to yourself, to the partner, to the child, then I would say it's important for you to leave and find another avenue to have a relationship with your child, because that's not healthy. Because when you think about children, they model what they see. And if they see a toxic relationship and seeing abuse, then they're more than likely to act in that way. But if they see something healthy, then they can also model that. But if you feel like this is not working, the best thing for you to do is to leave. Because it can cause additional stress, not just to you, but to the other people in the house and the children. And it definitely impacts the child because they see and hear these things.
Absolutely, they do. That makes but you hear it a lot, though. I know I hear a lot of people that say that, excuse me, that they stay in relationships for the sake of the children.
This is one thing that I realized: you never know what's going on in someone's home. You don't know. People post things on social media and everything looks happy, and then when a child turns 18, it's like, we're getting a divorce, and it's like, but you guys were just together. And it might be because they were able to effectively stand each other for that length of time, so that they could stay in the house and work together for the betterment of the child. But there's some people that just can't tolerate one another, and they have to leave. So it depends on the person. It depends on how it makes you feel. If you feel like this is hurting me more to be here, then I would say to leave. But if you can co-parent with the child, and financially it works, and you can continue to do that, because especially in Black families, you see more single parent households. Children need two parents. Over the weekend, I was with someone I knew, and she is now a parent. She's a single parent. She went through like in vitro fertilization, and she talked about the difficulty of she's in her 40s of parenting this 1-year-old child, and how life was so different when she would travel during the summertime. And now she went to the same place she went to, and she said, I was at libraries and a petting zoo. So life is totally different. So if you had that support, you're not in it alone.
I want to go back to the comment that Cheryl made. Cheryl Brown shared that she knows some children whose mothers have treated them very badly, but they will still love them no matter what. And you were talking about unconditional love, but she shared that the same children went to live with the most awesome stepmother, but they still wanted to be with their mother. When we talk about that unconditional love, but how does that manifest, or how can it potentially manifest in their own relationships in adult life?
Again, modeling what you say, it's like those learned behaviors that you've learned. So I'll just use for an example. Growing up, we got beatings when we did something wrong. But I learned as an adult, one, I don't want to be a part of the system, so I had to find other ways to rectify my child's behavior. So the beatings aren't working. what else can I do that'll help? So when you know better, you do better. And a lot of times we have to learn that. But a child doesn't know that. They're modeling what they see. So if they see toxic behavior, if they see love, but when you're talking about unconditional love, it's like I love them no matter what. And most of the time when you think about your parents, it's just I love them. That's the person that birthed me. So it doesn't matter what they did to me, I still love them. What? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so here we are. The child has, I have a full understanding of the child having unconditional love for their biological parent. But here's another parent, someone who's presenting as a parent in their lives, showing them love, showing them positivity and nurturing them, and how does that not, or well, I'm not saying that it won't in all cases, but in the cases that that it does not, uh what am I trying to say, like when they still like you're saying, like learn behavior. So when those children tend to mirror the behavior that they saw, they're most familiar with, or that comes from their biological parent, how is it that they don't mirror the behavior of the person that showed them love the most?
And sometimes they do.
Okay.
Sometimes they actually do. I think that children learn from whatever environment that they're in. So not to say that because they're with their step parent that they're not going to learn positive behaviors. I believe they will. They'll take if and you can think about anybody. It could be a teacher. It's like, okay, I like these things that they're doing. So and that feels good to me. So I can use this in my relationship. But when I think the love that we have for our parents is like innate. It's just something that's just in us. And again, when I say like it's no matter what they do, it's just like you always still feel that for them. And because when you think about people who are in foster care and stuff, although it might be a better environment, but I want to be with this person who birthed me. And then sometimes children internalize that, because what does that mean about me? That means that they don't want me. That means that they don't love me. They don't care about me. And it makes them may want them even more.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's really interesting. And so some of our family members are commenting. Melissa Gamble is joining the conversation. She's sending love to everyone. And Diane Facette is sharing. There are all different circumstances, different types of circumstances. The bond of motherhood is strong. And Ms. Joanne, hi there. She's joining us and she shares, yes, I've seen little girls beating their doll babies. So I guess they are around that, or they experience that behavior. Cheryl shares, if they were young, I was told, wait till they get older. You'll see what you taught them.
Children never forget what happened. They never forget what happened. They may sometimes the things become so painful though that they block it out. But then as they get older, they'll have those memories of things that happen. And for an example, when you talk about abuse, smaller children may not remember specifically what happened, but as they grow older, and it's like now I'm recalling certain things that happened to me as a child, and they're trying to understand it from an adult or older perspective, and trying to figure out what happened. So it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere.
So it always manifests at some point in your life. It's going to come out. Like it's definitely going to come out. My Lord. Oh my Lord. Family. Listen, it is time for us to take a break. But know that the phone lines are open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We will be right back.
Are you ready to party? The party is about to be on. Join us Friday, November 10th for Wurd Radio's 20th anniversary celebration, an evening of Black excellence and elegance at the beautiful Fiddler Club in downtown Philadelphia. A cocktail reception gets us started at 6 p.m. Grab a bite, share a toast, or hang out with your favorite Wurd host. And in recognition of this milestone birthday, we're bringing together the owners of the nation's 3 remaining Black talk radio stations, Melody Span Cooper of WVON Chicago, Tavis Smiley of KBLA Los Angeles, and Word's own CEO Sarah Lomax, exploring the future of Black independent-owned media. We'll have a special live performance, and the house will be rocking with a legendary DJ spinning from way back till today. More details to come. To get your tickets, visit wordradio.com/20th anniversary. And remember, membership has its privileges, or Word members can still continue to purchase tickets at a discounted rate. Your membership will be verified after purchase. Our 20th anniversary celebration is brought to you by Comcast, Bank of America, United Way, Keystone First, Wells Fargo, United Healthcare, and Mainline Health.
We gon' celebrate and have a good time.
What's up, Philly? It's Solomon Jones. Here are some facts about Commonwealth Charter Academy. Fact: for more than 20 years, CCA has been offering a world-class cyber education at no cost to families, including a laptop, headset, and help with internet access. Fact: CCA has more than 24,000 students, with over 4,000 from Philadelphia alone, benefiting from a safe, secure cyber classroom experience streamed directly into their homes. Fact: 1,400 Pennsylvania licensed teachers provide online classroom instruction featuring personalized attention. Fact: last year, CCA offered over 900 fun and exciting in-person and virtual field trips, because it can't be all about pencils and books. Those are just a few of the facts. Find out for yourself. Enroll today at ccaeducate.me. The fall semester is upon us, but it's not too late to learn the facts and discover CCA. It's how school should work. Fact.
Sometimes it seems the crises just keep coming for children. COVID, war, drought, and famine. They can seem downright relentless. But you know what? So can our response. When helping children unites us, we are a force to be reckoned with. Where there is help, there is hope. It's why UNICEF won't stop, ever. Learn more at unicefusa.org/we won't stop.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. Here we are talking with Mrs. FARIDA Boyer, our resident clinician. And during the commercial break, one of our family members called in with a question. The question is, what is the likelihood that children of abusive parents will repeat the behavior when they are older?
More than likely, they will repeat the behavior if they don't get help, if they don't learn that this is not appropriate, that there's other ways to behave. They will more than likely repeat the same behaviors. Again, it's that modeling what they see, they imitate it. Because when you, especially as a young child, you don't think about my parents are wrong, what their behaviors are wrong. You just see what they're doing. They're your parents. So you're assuming that they're doing the right thing. Until you get older and you're unable to understand, like, that's not appropriate behavior. So learn that there's another way to respond or another way to act upon something, then that's when you learn to do something different.
I just, because I always feel like, okay, we know right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
we definitely know. So when we see someone else, no matter who it is, we know whether it's right or wrong. I feel like at some point it's just a choice that we make to adapt that same behavior. But to our caller, thank you for that question, and I hope that your question was answered to your liking. Our family member, Miss Julie, is sharing for the reasons that Farida is stating. Some women have severe traumatic episodes during premenopause. Okay, and into and during menopause, the mind is a camera. Certain triggers elongate menopause episodes. Okay, reflections from early stages of life throughout childhood. That well, you know what? I can say that I receive that. I receive that. Like you were saying, things come back. We have a lot of things that are they're deeply rooted. They're deep seated. A lot of stuff gets tucked away. So I believe that. I believe that it depends on whatever the trigger is for you, when it will manifest, when it will come to the surface for you.
And you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know what the trigger is, because you could be anywhere. You could be at a show and something happens, and it could be a trigger for you. So you have to be mindful of those things. And I'm thinking about a caller we had a few weeks ago, and she talked a lot about her childhood experience, and just even having the courage to go to therapy to do the work, because she knew that she was impacted as a child, and how what it created for her, and she wanted to be different as an adult. In her relationship, she said that it was important for her to go to therapy, because now she's in a much more healthier space in her life, which makes it easier to be in a healthier relationship, because you can't be a toxic person and have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, that I thought that was such a strong conversation, and that was so strong of her to share that with us, because of everything that she shared, talking about the toxicity in her childhood. That took a lot, and that's what I was saying about making the choice as to whether you want to adapt the same behavior. You see it, you know that this behavior is wrong. You feel how it affected you, and you don't like the way you felt as a result of this behavior. But to the caller's point, or question rather, there's still a lot of people that will grow up and have the same behavior, that will adapt the same behavior.
Many people do, and it's about wanting to change. Like, you have to want to change, and then have like I said, the courage to do something different. Because what is it? Most people are comfortable in the space that they're in because it feels normal to them. Like, I already know how to behave this way. So what does it mean for me to do something different? Because then I don't know what that means. What does that say about me if I'm changing as a person? Will people look at me different? Will I feel different? So it's having a courage to want to be different and do something different.
And I've always been of the frame of mind that it takes so much more energy to cater to negative energy and to do wrong things than it does to do anything positive. I just can't imagine why anyone would make that choice and say, okay, well,
It
yeah, well.
doesn't feel good. Like, when you think about when you're angry and how, like, the emotion you feel inside. When you think about anger, it's like a boiling something inside of you, as opposed to when you're having a pleasant day, and it feels much lighter. So, and some of us walk around with that boiling sensation inside of them, and then when they react, it just comes off so harmful, and by then you may not even recognize it. So it's just something that people have to be aware of, be mindful of it, and want to make a change.
So when we talk about, the influence a child's parents' relationship can have on them, how does that manifest in their dating life when they get older?
It depends. It depends on, do I want to model that same behavior that I saw? Do I want to, when we're having a conversation, do I want to yell, and do I want to cuss and fuss? Or do I want to have a more pleasant relationship, or do I want to be able to learn how to effectively communicate so I don't have to use those negative behaviors? But it could affect it in a good way, and it could affect it in a bad way. And I think it depends on the individual wanting to be different. Do I want to have something successful?
Right. Like
Or not?
Jay, our family member who called, who shared that she
Mhm.
saw it. Like
Mhm.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mhm.
One
Mhm.
of our family members, Melissa, she's sharing that her mother and father were married for 20 or plus years. Her father was a very abusive man. Domestic violence was normal for him. Long story short, her mother passed at a very young age, 38, 39. If she had left, she would be alive today. She does believe that. She didn't realize how it affected her until she got older. Her father, as he got older, used to argue and curse at her as if she was his wife. The anger she had, she would say, "I'm not my mother, and you are not going to do to me what you did to my mother." I was determined.
Mhm.
God bless you, Melissa. God
Mhm.
bless you. May he continue to bless and keep you, because like you said, that's a conscious effort. It's a conscious decision coupled with that effort. And for you to see what happened to your mother, and to stand up for yourself, God bless you. May you
Mhm.
continue
And
to
have
do
that
so.
courage. To have
Yes.
the courage to say,
Yes.
"You're not gonna do that to me."
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. And and that I was thinking about that too. That's what I was asking about the children. Like how does that manifest in their adult lives? Because she could just as easily have, you know, um, have not stood up for herself. She could just as
Mhm.
easily had decided not to do so.
Mhm.
But
And if she's not, like, just like she said, I could be my mother. If I don't do anything, I could, and I don't know why her mom passed away, but if you
Mhm.
think about that you've been abused for all of these years, thinking about all those emotions inside and how it makes you feel, then how it impacts your body.
Mhm.
To have those emotions and feelings every day, all day, it's unhealthy.
Wow. Oh, family. Family, family. Here we are, Monday, September 18th. We're talking with our resident clinician, FARIDA Boyer. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online. So, in this first hour, we've been talking about how relationships the effect relationships can have on our babies, particularly and especially the relationship of their parents. I, of course, have been talking about the more toxic side of things, um, uh, because I just had more questions in that regard. Just had more, and then we see more of that. Let me not speak for everybody. I see a lot of that. I see more of that.
Mhm.
I've seen more of that, especially working with our babies. I've seen
Mhm.
a lot of that, and that was why I asked you the question with which I started about, how if you're on the outside looking in, how do you navigate that? How do you help a child, especially if they're a child of a parent or parents who
Mhm.
have mental health challenges? So, just trying to understand, just trying to have a better
Mhm.
understanding of how we can all help our babies. So in
When
our second, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, when you were talking, I think about the village. When we were
Mm-hmm.
growing up, the village was involved. It wasn't just your parents,
Mm-hmm.
your grandparents, aunt, uncles, neighbors, whoever. It was a collective, and everybody was part of the village.
Mm-hmm.
Now, today, the village is more quiet, or not as supportive, because you don't want to get in such and such business because it's not your
Mm-hmm.
business. And for many of us, we all have a responsibility to these children, because they're children. Like, if because I'm a mandated reporter, if I see something, and I'll use my best friend. She works for the Department of Human Services. We were in Chicago the other weekend. A child had got away from his mother. The mother was at the corner, and she's like, the little boy's several feet from the mother. And I think it's in her innate nature. now we're walking down the street just talking, and she stopped because she noticed that the little boy was no longer with his mother and got the mother's attention to say, your son is not with you. Where she could have very much kept walking, we could have kept having our conversation, but it's so when I say it's all our responsibilities, it is all of our responsibilities to make sure that our babies are safe.
It is. On that note, family, it's time for us to take a break, but know that the phone lines are open and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. Farida, thank you so much. We will see you next week. Family, stay with us.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Reality Check.
We were talking about development earlier on the show as it relates to the 76ers trying to move into this downtown arena that they want to build, that they are proposing, that the community opposes. And they oppose it for a number of reasons, one of which is once they put that arena in that area, things are going to skyrocket down there. Philadelphia does not have a real good affordable housing system. When you look at all these apartment buildings going up, and I mean everywhere in the city, what you're not going to see is what it takes to live in those apartment buildings. It takes people, they're asking for 3 times the rent. They are asking for credit scores above 650. And I'm not saying that those are not reasonable things, but at the same time, they are adding to the barriers for people getting into new construction apartments in particular. And now a lot of private owners are following along.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Reality Check on WURD Progressive. Black Talk Media.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $638 million. $638 million. So don't forget to play at your local retailer or online. Pennsylvania lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
What are you waiting for? If you've been enjoying the information and interviews WURD provides every day or come out to our community events, it might be time to become a member. This year marks the 20th anniversary of WURD, and there's no better time to join the Forward movement. Sign up or renew your sustaining membership at just $90 or your digital membership for just $5 a month. Join online at wordradio.com/membership or pick up the phone and give us a call at 215-425-7875. Press 4 for assistance. The time to join is now.
What am I waiting for?
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media, we're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the Wurd Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So we were talking in our first hour with Mrs. FARIDA Boyer, who was our resident clinician. And we were talking about how our relationships as adults can affect our children, how they affect our babies and family members. You were talking. What I wanted to do though, because we only have Farida for an hour, and the conversation always feels to me like it just ends so abruptly. I don't want, excuse me, to move forward without making sure we've wrapped on that. But one of our family members, Diane Fassett, shares that her dad was very abusive to her mother. Her mother had her hands filled with 3 children, 2 of whom had diabetes type 1 since ages 5 and 7. Her dad also had type 1. She shares that she was healthy and she was left on her own most of the time. I am terribly sorry I'm terribly sorry. I am terribly sorry to read that. She also shares that she understands that the predicament she was in, she understands that now, but that comes with age, and understanding it doesn't come right away. And children can harbor a lot of bad feelings about their parents when it comes to things like that. And until they start to understand the circumstances where, and that's later in life. That's so true. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. That is so true. I agree with you on that. And that was what Farida was saying too. She was saying that, it's not until we are well into our adult lives that we sometimes, because not everybody has a good understanding or a better understanding of what was happening in their childhood. But I'm happy for you that you have a better understanding, and it sounds like you were able to navigate that in a good way. I do want to share that our family member Raphael is checking in. Hello there, brother Raphael. Shirley Bryant is sharing some love too. Hi there, beautiful. Miss Lily, hi there, beautiful. Hi there. Miss Lily is sharing love, sending love to everybody. So family, I actually want to talk with you. From time to time we do an open forum, and we just did it the other day, but I had such a great weekend. I was sharing with you all that I just felt so much love over the weekend because I got to see so many of you. I ran into Brother Nasir, had a great time, and saw so many of you in Atlantic City, and then at our show here in Ardmore yesterday. But then I read the news today. The first article I read was that we had a violent weekend in Philadelphia. I cannot tell you how heavy that made my heart, how heavy it has my heart. We keep having these ongoing conversations about the violence in our city, about the gun violence, particularly in our city, but just violence overall. There's just so much, so much, so much, so much. And I know I keep saying, I want to continue this conversation because I am so hopeful and I am prayerful that, listen, we come up with something, or we spark, we spark some sort of resolution. But this article I read, it read, since Friday evening, there have been at least 9 shootings in Philadelphia, where 10 people were shot and 6 died. Every corner you turn, there's violence, said Cynthia Presley from North Philadelphia. It's so bad out here, she shared. It makes you scared to walk and just do anything for people. I'm curious to know, because we've been talking about, like I said, gun violence. We've been talking about, our babies. I'm pivoting for those of you who are who joined us just before the last commercial. I'm pivoting because I want to talk to you. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think and how you feel, and I want to know where we're dropping the ball. Like, what are we doing? What are we not doing? What are we doing and what are we not doing? That just it just shook me. Honestly, it shook me. And then so I was sharing with you that I had a show. The show I had on Saturday was in Atlantic City. The show I had yesterday was here in Ardmore, but Saturday in Atlantic City. I look at the news, and then on the news they were showing a video of a group that had taken over an intersection in South Philadelphia. They were doing the donuts in their cars. I think that's what they call it when they're speed racing in a circle or what have you. But they took over the entire intersection, and there was someone who was trying to pass or trying to just drive down the street, and they were making it difficult for that individual to do so. So what are we doing, y'all? What are we not doing? What is happening? What has happened? What is happening, and how has it gotten so out of hand? And again, I know we're all prayerful. I know we're all hopeful, as am I. But what do we do? What do we do? How do we change this? How do we fix this? What do we do about it? I'm curious to know what you think and how you feel. Talk to me in the comments on our socials and let me know how you're processing this, how you're navigating this. Do you have fear going outside nowadays? Do you have fear sitting in your home? Like, how are you navigating what's going on outside right now? And family, call me too, because I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think and how you feel. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can also call me toll free at 1-866-361-0900. There were other articles that I read today, but I wanted to focus on that because, like I said, that really shook me when I saw it today. 10 people were shot and 6 people died. What are we doing? I'm going to keep asking it. I'm going to take a moment to go to the phone lines. One of our family members is calling in. Hello, and thank you so much for calling.
And thank you, Carol. Today, for some reason, probably because I was gladdened to know that the escapees from the detention center had been apprehended, that it was no blood shed, etc., that I did not read today's headlines, which is always earth-shattering when we hear that there has been not an oil spillage, blood that is hurting us as it already is, and then we hear of more matters where there's more blood spilling. Carol, a few months ago, your colleague at WURD, Joanne Bell, had a forum where she had the youth speak about how they're feeling walking through the violence to get to school, to leave school, to go visit someone. And it seemed as though after that, it was some sort of calm to the storm. In other words, it seemed as though it was a time from that time that the youth spoke about their own problems. And basically, I'm gathering that because others were hearing the voice of their own age or what have you, that it just flowed. It seemed to come to a stop. We don't have enough love in our community. I was reminded of watching a movie from the 70s called The Grittian or The Gritterin. Sometimes I have trouble pronouncing the words, and what it was about was about a league of men who gave of themselves to youth, a true story, an actual situation, wherein every child who spoke about their situation said that there was not enough love in their home. They did not feel loved. As Dr. Farida had said, that many of these children, although they're away from home and it may in fact be a better environment for them, they long to be from where they came from. And they somehow don't feel as loved. They feel as though they've been just given away for somebody else to figure out their life and figure out their problems. And yes, true. We were brought up in a village. We were brought up in a village wherein if it wasn't our neighbor, it was a family member or teacher or someone. And I believe that the children of today, the youth of the day, they have seen so much more than we ever saw. They've been exploited, whether it be through psychologists that believe that they can make their own decisions, which they cannot. They believe that counseling is something that you just go to the shelf and there's the cure for it, and it's not. And so they have lived in a world where they still see that we, the adults, are trying to prove that we have had a voice in our own say. And it just is not enough situations where they have seen justice in our lives, and therefore they have not had any justice in their lives. So I think that in part, what we need is that we do need open courts where we are literally seeing these matters resolved, and we are seeing the cases that have been closed that was not closed in such a way where it changed the transition of the person or person's life without furthering any type of hardship. We need to see and believe what we're seeing rather than to just be on the end where the experience is more traumatizing.
Miss Audrey, do you feel that our youth are beyond reach?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
You remember Thunderdome?
Yes.
Tina Turner. You remember that?
Yes.
And
Yes.
for some reason, as it was being said just before your show on Evening with Words, the movies that should have been highlighted or the true situation with which, in the case of Thunderdome, we can relate to, that was so far into the future, yet here we are. We're in a world where there is so much chaos. We're in a world where there's constantly this uphill battle to bring peace to a situation, to bring the necessary foods and clothing and income. Income is the problem. And it's my understanding that our brother Shamari will be addressing some matters on Eating with Word on Tuesday and Wednesday. And
Yes.
the idea of it is that economics is the problem. When I looked at the grid that he shared from the Inquirer, the economics where there are those who make $50,000 a year. Well, those who were making $50,000 are making $75,000 a year. We're not in that meridian.
Mm-mm.
And it's not
Mm-mm.
because we don't have the intelligence. It's
Right.
because of people like a Donald Trump. It is because of his followers. It is because of people who post-Civil War want to keep us entangled in those agreements where they are binding the agreements of either continuing a low wage or a wage in which it is that we cannot excel past where we are in current time.
That whole conversation, Ms. Audrey, when we talk about politics, I get so emotional and frustrated because here we are, we're living in 2023. We're living in a world where, and in an existence where we are still being held to laws that were put in place when we as Black people were still slaves. They were laws made to keep us in bondage, made to keep us in slavery. And a lot of those laws still haven't changed. They still have not changed. So we're living in a world that is just stagnant. It refuses to change. So we talk about politics in present day, and you know y'all know
I
I
mean,
can't say his
a lot of
name.
people may not believe in this, but it's as though we have to follow an astrological chart in the course of our next action. Do
Mhm.
we venture to go outdoors? Well, no, the stars was aligned a certain way, and it was
Right.
too much of a retrograde planet, and we're going backwards instead of forward. So where do we make our next move and return safely? As you said at the beginning, we keep it all in prayer, and we don't stop loving one
That's
another.
true. That's
That
so
won't.
true. No, we won't, Miss Audrey. No, we won't. To that point, I love you and I thank
I love you.
you so much for calling in. Oh my, there's so much just trying to process everything that we're dealing with. Family, when I tell you that shook me, it shook me to my core. For just to read that 10 people were shot and 6 died. And I keep saying it. I keep saying it because I feel like we live in a world where everything is sensationalized and we've become desensitized to a degree. And this should affect everybody. I don't care who you are. That should affect everybody. Um, I, I did ask you what you think and how you feel, and here I am. I'm just so caught in my emotion. I do want to recognize that our family members are checking in. Let me bring it back down. I'm loud and everything else. Heather, hi, Heather. Heather is my sister girl. That's my sister friend. Hi, Heather. She's checking in and she's saying hello, hello. Malcolm shares that he hardly goes anywhere. He tries to keep his trips short because road rage is a thing. It is. He shares that I hardly leave my neighborhood. I mean, seriously. I understand that, Malcolm. I really do. Paula Clark is sharing some love, and I can't thank you enough for that love. I cannot thank you enough for that. Rasheen Charnett is checking in and sharing good evening, and my cousin Sherry Riddick. Hey there, cuz. She shares, we are living in the last days. We need God's kingdom. That is the solution to mankind's problem. Believe that too. I do believe it. I say it all the time, but every time we have these conversations, I don't want us to give up. I just don't want us to give up. Malcolm is sharing that people drive with no intention of slowing down, like they own the road and they forget about actually stopping for lights or stop signs. People drive with no regard for human life. That's what they do. They drive with no regard for human life. Diane shares that she's aware of her surroundings. She carries mace and an alarm, which would scare a moose. I know that's right. When you hear about all of these deaths, it's just incomprehensible. She shares that we have to stop and feel that, to let it sink in and not let it become normalized. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like so much loss, detachment, pain, death, killing, just I feel like it has become normalized and it hurts. And I don't know. Rick, Eric is checking in. Just Rick. Hi there. He shares that he is sending heavenly prayers to lift my spirits. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Daily life can be quite discouraging, but keep your faith. I sure am. It does not waver. It will not. Evil only lasts temporarily. Our city and the world is still full of love and good hearted, God loving people. Yes, it is. Amen to that. Amen to that. Amen to that. You're absolutely right. Harry Wims is sharing love with the family. Family, it's time for us to take just a short break, but the conversation is continuing. So please stay with us because we'll be right back. I'm Carol Riddick, the host of Love and Life. And guess what, family? I will be live. That's right. I can speak with you about the real facts and honest opinions on dating, sexual health, casual and committed relationships. Join me Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The conversations will be served on a judgment-free platter and seasoned with unapologetic realness. So join me Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Do you need reliable internet for school, work, or other necessities? The federal government's Affordable Connectivity Program, ACP, provides up to $30 off internet bills. Families getting no-cost internet service through PHL Connected must take action to transfer their service to ACP as soon as possible to avoid getting bills. Philadelphia residents can visit getacp.org/PHL or dial 211 for more information and help signing up.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $638 million. $638 million. So don't forget to play at your local retailer or online. Pennsylvania lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
This is Lucille Ijoy with a vignette about voting. With things that are going on in this nation, let's join hands and mention voting every time we get an opportunity. We can say, I register, I vote, I must. Yes, I register, I vote, I must. This is an easy reminder. Voting really does matter. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let anyone say it doesn't matter. Just stand tall and say it with gusto. I register, I vote, I must. Yes, I register, I vote, I must. Say it again. I register, I vote, I must.
So I have a mouse. No big deal.
Actually, mice contaminate food and spread disease.
Daddy, a wasp.
It's too cold for wasps, honey.
Actually, fall is when stinging insects are most aggressive.
So I saw a cockroach. Okay, 3. It's no emergency.
Actually, cockroaches can trigger asthma and spread disease. Household pests are a health threat. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. It is Monday, September 18th. We are in the second hour of Love and Life. And I shared that I wanted to talk with you about what's going on in our city. I shared one of the headlines. The headline read that we had a violent weekend in Philadelphia, which left at least 10 shot and 6 dead after multiple shootings. And I posed the question to you all. I several questions, actually. I was asking how you're navigating what's going on in our city. Do you have any fear about going out, about going anywhere, or even apprehension, maybe not even fear? Do you have any apprehension about going out? Fear or either or? I'll ask that, either or. How do you feel about even being in your house? Because just, so much is happening. So much is going on. Our family member, Harry shares it. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to love life and live life. You know what? I'm with you on that, Harry. I am. I am. You all hear me talk about so much about practicing self-love and self-care, and I've been trying to do better at taking, better care of myself. So I've been catering to that a lot. This just made my heart so heavy when I read the headline that I wanted to know how you all are navigating. But I'm so happy to hear that. I'm happy to not hear that. I'm happy to read that. I'm happy to read that you are not going to live in fear, because we're not supposed to live in fear. We're not supposed to do so. Alfred is checking in. Alfred Evans is sharing good evening with everyone. And he's sharing that wishes for a great week. Thank you so much for that, Alfred. Thank you. Thank you. It's just so much. Miss Joanne is checking in. Hi there, Miss Joanne. I didn't want to miss you. Miss Joanne Dormond, she's checking in as well. But family, I'm asking you, tell me how you're navigating, what you think and how you feel, how you're moving these days. What kind of protection are you carrying with you? Do you have any protection with you? Um, I guess I'm just in the midst of my frustration. My emotion is at its height with this, because I feel like, if not every day, it's every other day that I'm reading about so much violence in our city. And I'm not discounting. I'm not saying anything about the rest of the world. I know it exists everywhere. I do. I'm well aware. But here, here, here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So, family, feel free to comment on our socials, and you can also give us a call. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can also call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Family, I want to talk to you. I want to know what you're saying. Malcolm is sharing that he is considering carrying a permit. You know what? I overstand. How many of our family members do? If you don't mind me asking, I mean, that might not be something you want to share with our family members, but if you don't mind, do you carry? Do you have a permit to carry? How are you arming yourself, or what other kind of protection do you have? If you have protection, you don't have to tell me what it is, but if you do have protection that you're carrying with you, I'm curious to know, because it's just so much, so much, so much, so much. Alfred is sharing that many of our cities in this country are in a cloudy sense of being. Yet we must navigate the world, live it loving thy neighbor, but be vigilant and love thyself. And that does mean self-protection by whatever is necessary. I understand. Harry is sharing that he does have protection. And Melissa, she shares, you definitely have to go out wearing the armor of God. Oh, absolutely. 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 So what do we do? Now, Miss Audrey, I was asking Miss Audrey if she felt that our youth were beyond reach. What about you? Do you feel that they're beyond reach? Do you feel that they are? I'm curious to know the answer to that question. Rasheen Charnett is sharing, born and raised here. As you all may know, our city has a lot of positivity and history. Yes, it does. It hurts my heart how our city has deteriorated with violence. I am licensed to carry, as well as my sons. We have to stay prayed up and still live our lives. Yeah, you're right. There's so many good things. So many good things about our city. So much, so much. But yet, and I don't want to say but, and yet, here we are. Here we are. That headline cut me. It really did. It really did. And you're talking about, and there were several areas of the city. It wasn't as if it was just concentrated in one area, like the gunfire was concentrated in one area. It was all over the city. And, not to mention, I don't know, like I said, I don't know. I also shared about the individuals that had shut down. I think it was Broad and Washington Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. They were doing like donuts. You know, when you drive the car in a circle, but there were just a lot of them out there, and they obstructed the regular flow of traffic. There were people taking video who lived in the neighborhood who were showing, cars trying to just drive, just keeping the regular flow of traffic, but they were unable to do so. They were unable to do so. So what do we do, y'all? What do we do? Talk to me. Talk to me. What do we do? I feel like here we are. We talk so much about what is happening, what's going on. What do we do? Where do we pick up the pieces? What do we do? Nick, talk to me. Talk to me, Nick.
Hey, Carol, how you doing?
I'm well. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm just listening to what you're saying, and as you ask the question, I'm trying to formulate the answer, and I think it's a hard question to answer because it's going to vary from person to person, right? But
Absolutely.
I know what I do, and I'm not licensed to carry or anything like that. Though I think in this city, you probably should be, no matter what age you are, just for safety reasons.
Mhm.
I know what I try and do, and I try and keep myself away from a lot of the foolishness that's pervasive in the city.
Mhm.
I try and stay away from areas that I think are going to be a problem, or I try not to be out real late at night and do this and that. But the reality is, in this city, it could happen anytime and anywhere, and you don't have to be
Exactly.
doing something wrong, and you don't have to be. Um, it can just happen to anybody, and though I keep that in mind, it doesn't let me stop me. It doesn't stop me from going about my day and living life the way that I think I should. But
Mhm.
what I always try and do, even if I'm uncomfortable in a situation, or even if I think something bad may happen, or even if I feel disrespected, I try my best to treat people with respect. One, because that's what I was taught. That's how I was raised. But two, you never know what's wrong with people, and sometimes showing them that bit of respect can save your life, and it can save their life. It can stop them from doing something foolish, making a mistake,
Mhm. Mhm.
especially over something little like a car, or maybe somebody you thought somebody disrespected you or something like that. So I try and keep it as respectful as possible.
I'm with you on that. I I was always raised to treat people as I want to be treated. So I try to remain respectful at all times. Even no matter the circumstance or the situation, I do try my best. I'm curious to know, and you're right about staying out of certain areas and trying to avoid, areas of the city where you believe there to be a higher risk. Now, but something's well. Here I go, because sometimes I'm the one that says, well, I'm protected. I'm a child of God, and I shouldn't have to be fearful of where I move, where I walk, what where I go. But I do understand what you're saying. I definitely understand what you're saying. I'm curious to know, Nick, did you see the story that Miss Audrey was talking about? I missed that story. About I think there were some escapees. They were all um I think they were all apprehended, but there were some escapees. I think they were youth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Cor-
they were all from a youth facility. It was 10 kids who escaped, and I think they escaped in I'm forgetting what day it was, but they escaped
Mhm.
that night, and the police were able to pick them up pretty much the next day, all 10 of them, and they've all been returned back to the facility. Uh,
10 of them.
10. It's not a small number of people who were able to get out. So it calls into question, how secure are these facilities if 10 people can get out?
Exactly. And where were the employees on duty? If 10 youth were able, okay. So I need to do some more investigating and into that. But again, I keep questioning, like, okay, we as adults, here we are, we're talking about young adults, we're talking about youth, in a lot of these cases that are committing these acts of violence. So what do we do as the adults? How do we reel them in? How do we do that? I don't I agree with Miss Audrey. I don't feel that they're beyond reach. I don't. But I also don't know how to reach them because like she did say, and I'm in agreement with pretty much everything she said, everything that I can remember that she said. They've been exposed to so much, they've been desensitized, quite honestly, on so many levels because of their exposure to so much. So, but I don't know how we reach them as a result of that. How we bring them back. We Our village is detached right now. We don't have a village. We have some people afraid to talk to our kids because they're fearful of how they will react, which is that's human. That's I understand that too. So what do we do? What do we do? Family, I see you talking. I can't stop running my mouth because this is just like it's just bothering me so much. But I did ask you questions and I do want to know how you feel and what you're thinking. And oh my goodness, my goodness. Christopher Manigault is sharing we're living in a lawless society where we have lost the village. I don't know. You think we've lost it? I don't think we've lost it because there's still some of us, some of us who are like-minded. We're still out there. We are still there. We're still here, rather. We're still here. I think it's severely detached, bruised, but I believe the village is still here. Miss Lily, she shares in my most humble opinion. I do not live in fear. However, I become frustrated and disappointed when I hear about the senseless killings and senseless injuries occurring on a daily basis. I'm with you. I am definitely with you. I share that. I share that. Mike, hi, Mike. Mike Upshaw is joining us. He shares, good evening, everybody. The city should be investigating and people should be asking these questions. 1, where are all the weapons coming from? 2, who are bringing them in? Because they are not just appearing on their own. 3, why is this only happening in predominantly Black low-income areas across the country? And 4, is it by design? It absolutely is. But a lot of them are making their guns. A lot of them are manufacturing them. They are manufacturing them, believe it or not. Heather. Hey, Heather. Heather shares, honestly, I have my mace, my taser, and then some. I say my prayers every day. I trust in the Lord with all thine heart. There needs to be true accountability for people's actions all the way down to the kids. Make their parents accountable too. I'm glad you said. I was curious to know. What do we think about that? Should the parents be held responsible as well for some of these crimes? Yeah, yeah. Rasheen was sharing. Yes, 9 juveniles between the ages of 14 and 18 all have been captured. How does that happen? How does that happen? And Harry shares that he heard that the female employees were overtaken by the group. Gustavo shares that he wants to carry, but he doesn't want to kill anyone, especially a Black man. I share that. I share that. I share that. And Chris shares the power has been taken away from the parents. When you have an 800 number, the kids can call for them being disciplined. Yeah. Now, I thought there was a huge problem with that when, kids could take their parents to court. But again, it gets tricky. It just gets tricky. Now, Sear was sharing as well that they overtook 2 women that were watching them. So there were no, were they just had women on duty that night? No men were working? What? And Melissa shares, maybe being shown what real love is will help. Alfred says the village is out of control. Discipline and self-respect and self-love. And Rasheen, he shares, well, I feel it starts at home. A lot of our children are far from broken homes. They come from far from broken homes and are not fortunate to have the guidance or love they need. I'm sorry, a lot of our children are from broken homes, he shares, and are not fortunate to have the guidance or love they need. But that doesn't mean it's not out there. Like, to the point one of the points in the conversation we were having with Farida, there are people that demonstrate love, that love on our babies. I'm out here loving on our babies. You're out there loving on our babies. So how do they stray away from that love? How does that happen? How does that happen? Malcolm shares we've never really fully recovered from the crack era. Fast forward to now, COVID kicked us in the butt as well, and the economy in the toilet. Mm, mm, mm. Family, here we are. What we're going to do right now, we're going to take just a short break so I can decompress. Look at me, I'm getting myself all worked up because this topic has me so upset. But know that the phone lines are open and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. When we come back, we're going to the phone lines. So, family, stay with us because we'll be right back.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Word's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out the recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Wagner Institute of Science is hiring a science outreach educator. The Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia is hiring both a director of finance and operations and an executive director. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative, brought to you by Wurd Radio, progressive Black talk media.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't? I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Teachers shape the future. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who will make preventing pandemics their life's work, sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who'll help combat climate change, and generating possibilities for a student who'll be the first in their family to graduate college. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Finish your high school diploma for you and your family. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
I think I know what love is.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. As promised, we're going to go to our phone lines because I believe we have family members waiting to join the conversation. Hello, and thank you for calling. Maybe not. Maybe not. I thought we did, but that's quite all right. So before, wait, I'm hearing something. Hi, family. Are you there by any chance?
I don't know. You speaking to me?
I sure am.
Girl, hush your mouth.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm slow, but I'm sure. It's getting hard out here for a pimp. Girl, I admire your knowledge and courage. I don't know if I had the pleasure of speaking with you before, but I listen to you all the time. I have a quote for the slaves and the descendants of slaves. You slaves, if you have a chance, the opportunity to write this quote down, write this quote down. It has withstood the test of time. The process of understanding or perceiving a common evil has put many people into a situation of the utmost danger. That simply means the masses of human beings that were exterminated in the past before us, they never saw extermination coming. They saw themselves being treated wrong and unfairly and brutalized. But they had no idea that the people that was doing this to them, they had plans to exterminate them. Sister love. That is where the Negro is today, right now. A process is in place for us to be exterminated. And most of us have no idea that it's going down. That is what is happening to us. And once they exterminate us, they're going to exterminate the so-called Africans in Africa. Then they're going to get them.
You
now,
think over?
Yes?
Oh,
Yes?
no, I'm listening. No, I'm listening.
Okay. Somebody said, okay, Brother X said this, and what we going to do? Now, look, you can stay here and fight, but you have no chance of winning, and you know it. You're not going to run to Walmart for no more ammo. If they can find you, they can kill you. So, before that comes down, you have a chance to escape out of here. I cannot tell you where to go. I don't know. Only place I've been to is Vietnam. And I would like to go back to Vietnam. But I can't tell you where to go. And after they finish exterminating us, the Africans are next. They are already working on them. Anybody listen to talk shows and know what's going on will know that. They are next. They have no chance. So if you can escape out of here, try to decide where you can go to live your life out. You're not going to defeat racism and white supremacy. They control Earth and space. Stop playing crazy. Look out for your life, your young granddaughter, grandson, your wife. You got to look out for their life. I'm not here to play with you. You got to think about trying to escape out of here. There's a white supremacist power structure. They are letting this chaos go on. You know it.
I do agree with you. Oh, I agree. No, I agree with that. I definitely. You heard me say it. You heard me say it. You heard me say it. All these, listen, all these rules that have been put in place, they were put in place so long ago, and they were put in place for a reason, and it was to keep us exactly where we are. I talk, I say it all the time. The plan is in play, but I'm the problem that I have with it is that there are so many of us that are aware, like you yourself, me. there's so many of our family members that are aware that there's a plan in play. Why is it that we can't defeat this plan? Why is it?
Because we have no land. We have no country. Since we have no land and we have no country, it is every slave for himself. That don't mean you're a coward.
Right.
How you gonna control America, racist, white supremacy empire? Stop playing, man. You're not gonna change this thing. So what you gotta do is, how can you save your life, your grandson life, your granddaughter life? You're not gonna change this stuff. And
So
I'm
how do
not
we
gonna
do
call
that?
up here and pretend with you that you gonna change this racist empire.
So how do we do that? How do we protect our grandbabies, our babies, our grandbabies? How do we do that? We take them somewhere else.
You gotta get them out
Yeah.
here.
So
If
where's
you
there
know
less
somebody-
racism?
If you know somebody somewhere else, look, all you gonna do is buy time. Because when they finish with with us,
They're going to Africa. They've already started on Africa.
Yeah.
But where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go?
To the moon, to Mars. Because we can't change this stuff here on Earth. These people have been controlling this planet forever. You know it.
Yeah, but see, I don't agree with running. I don't agree with running. I agree that there's a plan in place. I agree that it's been enforced for so long. I definitely agree with that. But I do not, and I will not. I refuse to accept that it cannot be defeated. It cannot be broken. I refuse to accept that. I just don't. And so now I have to go to Mars or to the moon. This is a whole world here.
Okay, look, when this slaughter start, you're not gonna run to Walmart for no more ammo. You're not gonna run to Walmart for no more food. Right here in Chicago, these so-called people they call Mexicans, they terrorizing these Negroes. They all in their neighborhood, riding around in pickup truck with Mexican flag. They thinking about these Negroes. And they got the power to do that.
There's a lot of what you're saying. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Brother X, I'm looking at the time because I am so enjoying this conversation, but I don't want us to get cut off. And I know we're about to come to a close. I would love to continue this conversation with you on another night. But I'm looking, and we're going to have to wind down in a second. And I don't want you to say, Carol, cut me off, because I do not want to do that at all. But I do want you to know that I appreciate you, and I thank you for calling, and I so thank you for sharing your opinion and for sharing with us. Like I said, I'm in agreement with a lot of what you're saying. I'm in so much in agreement. But family, I want the conversation to continue. You know I do, because you know I care. You know I care about us. I care about our babies. I care about our future. Harold says I can ride in his spaceship, that we'll all be out with Brother X. I love it. Well, thank you. Save my seat. Okay. Save my seat. Harry says, we're going to fight this John out. I know that. And Chris says that everything Brother X said is facts. They're all facts. He's speaking the truth, but he does not know the ultimate goal. That's what Chris shares with us. Family. Oh my goodness. I'm going to make me another cup of tea to try to calm my nerves. Because, like I said, that headline really shook me. It hurts me to my heart. And I do know there is a plan in play. And I know our babies, you know what? Family. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to exhale, inhale first, then exhale. That's what I'm going to do. Family, just praise God, as I will always do, from whom all blessings flow. I just want to thank you for continuing to support Love and Life, for just continuing to spend some time with Nick and I. Thank you to those who contributed on our socials. Thank you to those of you who called. Thank you so much. To our guest, Mrs. Farida Boyer, thank you for sharing your time, your energy, your space, your knowledge, your attention, and your spirit with us, family, because we love you. We definitely do love you. We love you, but God loves you so much more. I tell you that. I was made aware of the fact that Dr. Constance Clayton, who served as the first African American and female superintendent of the Philadelphia Public Schools, has passed away. So I just want to send my condolences and love to her family and her loved ones. Thank you to the entire WURD family, especially to you, Niall Jax, and to you, Nick Steptoe, for all that you do. Family, remember, we're all in this together. So be good to you, please. Please be good to those around you. Have a great night, family. Be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. for another edition. I love you, but God loves you so much more. Don't you forget that. You hear me? Don't you ever forget that. Good night.